Well, good morning to you. Welcome to Up to the Minute. I'm Todd Duplantis, and yes, we are on an hour late, but we have an excuse. We have a note from the Chancellor's office. We had to do some work for them a little while ago for the candidate forum for the Associate Vice Chancellor of Talent, Technology, and Total Rewards. So we had 3 candidates presented this morning. I hope you had a chance to join us there. That's why we're running an hour late. Brittany Pacheco's here. And Brittany, it's nice outside. I'm not keeping my fingers crossed. It'll probably rain because it's rained since the beginning of time here in Houston, and it's supposed to rain at least through August, I hear.
Yeah, it reminds me of the summer of 2007, and that was the year I graduated high school, because I feel like as soon as I graduated high school, it literally rained for 40 days and 40 nights. Like, I'm not even kidding. Yeah. And it flooded horribly. This is Houston after all. So yeah, I'm with you, Todd. It's nice out today. It's a little warm, in my opinion.
I'll take the warmth. I'll take that for now.
But the fact that, it's lovely outside, take advantage while you can, because this weather is going to change, especially since we're embarking hurricane season.
Oh yeah. Thanks for bringing that up, Brittany. Great. Yeah.
You're
wonderful.
Welcome.
Okay, Debbie Downer, what else we got going on as far as social media here?
Just be sure to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, and don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. And to our audience, please help us grow by sharing this podcast by clicking the share button at the bottom of this live broadcast. And just tell your friends, family members, coworkers, what have you. And Todd, let's get into today's show.
All right, Brittany, thank you. Stick around. We'll check in with you in just a little while. It just feels weird being on at 11. I guess I'll get used to it by the time the show ends. Let's get into the show. We've got, it's gaming day here on Wednesdays, and today is no exception. From the Digital and Gaming Simulation Program, the department, he's known as Professaurus, and Chris Khuong joins us. Chris, good morning to you. Professaurus, I imagine you're going to explain that name to us in a little while, right? Well, your mic's muted now, so we'll...
Of course. Sorry. Glad to be here. Thanks for having me. And I just thought it was kind of fun with the kids teaching the semester as a different avatar. And so they ended up getting really into it, and especially when we explored Museum of Natural Science this year.
All right. Well, we're looking forward to hearing more from you in a little while, Chris, so stick around. We've got a very special guest joining us now, Dr. David Cross. He's the Director of EEO Compliance, Title Coordinator, and Office of Institutional Equity. Good morning, David. Good to see you on the show. Well, we got your mic muted as well. If we can get you to unmute your microphone. Can you unmute it on your end? Bottom right. There you go.
There we go.
How are you, David?
It's good to see you, and it's a pleasure to be here. I am a sit-in and maybe a poor sit-in for Yazmeen Ortiz, who was the HCC intern who joined our program this past semester. But it is a pleasure and a thrill to be able to chat about her. And I hope her ears are burning as we talk.
Yeah, so Yazmeen was going to be on the show. And she declined at the last minute because she was worried, understandably, about her contract she had signed with where she's going to go work. She's going to work for she's got a great job opportunity, and we totally understand why she decided to let you speak on her behalf. But maybe you can tell us where Yazmeen is going to work.
Sure. Well, Yazmeen just completed a very successful interview this past Monday, 2 days ago, with the Walt Disney and LucasFilms studios.
Wow.
Out in California. She applied as an intern for their program, which also allows her to participate in Disney College, and she'll be working on getting her bachelor's degree there also. But it is a new program that Lucasfilm started trying to tap digital talent around the country, and she is one of the first, if not the first, intern they selected. And she is planning, as I understand, to fly out on the 31st to start her new life with Walt Disney World.
That is just a dream opportunity. I mean, George Lucas, the name is iconic. Star Wars, American Graffiti. Yeah, you know it, you love it. And who knows, maybe she'll work on another Star Wars film. All that could be in her future. You know, David, it really says a lot about the talent we have in our student body here at HCC when one of our students is selected for this. You know, there's so many students around the country who'd love this opportunity, yet she was selected for it.
Yeah. The, you know, it was, I want to do a quick shout out to James Mabel, the director of the Career and Job Placement Services. Yazmeen is probably our 4th or 5th intern from that program, and they have all been stellar. And they've all gone on to do great work. The internship program, I mean, they apply for the internship. They go through all of the hiring processes. They go through all of our training, online training. And then they have the work experiences with our staff, and then they're really prepared for job opportunities as she goes out. Yazmeen came into this role because she is an admitted Star Wars junkie. She grew up living it and loving it, and was really talked into moving forward to accept or to try for this internship from her interaction with our staff. Particularly Osvaldo Gomez, our Deputy Title IX Coordinator, who pointed her in that direction.
David, let me ask you this for people who may be interested, some of our students who are, you know what, I want to do an internship. What would an internship, you're the Director of EEO Compliance and Title IX Coordinator. What would an internship for your office look like? What would you have them doing?
Yeah, well, in normal times, and you know, we're far from normal times, they would come in, they would be in our office, they would meet with us at our staff meetings. We love having students because in a district office, sometimes, you know, we get lonely for students. Yeah. So we use them, we ask them questions, we check them for how they perceive things. We also use them to go out to the colleges to meet with other students, to engage in the activities. So it really becomes a part of us. In our virtual world, which we are now, they don't have that opportunity, but we used Yazmeen to help us with our virtual communication strategies and really to put together a whole set of awareness presentations and posters around the work that we do around equity, institutional equity.
I would imagine, kind of like it is with HCCTV, we bring in our students and we get a perspective that we, you know, desperately need to reach our students. I would imagine the students bring a lot to the table for your office because, as you mentioned, communicating with students, communicating with faculty and staff is one audience, but the students are a whole different audience, and bringing those students in can help you reach that audience.
Absolutely. And particularly when, you know, in our work, we deal with discrimination, harassment, and equity issues, just fairness. How do you get access? Yeah. And sometimes it's easy for us to overlook some of the barriers and concerns by students out there because we're not listening to them or we don't hear them. So to sit down with a group of students, and if you have a student in the midst of that, I know we also do work with our student ambassadors to talk about our office and how it works and why it's important for students to be able to access and know that. So if you don't listen to the student voice, you get out of touch really fast.
Absolutely. David, if someone wants to get a hold of your office, what's the best way to reach you on our website? Yeah.
If you go to the website, the best way is to go down to the bottom of every web page. Has a link that says equal education or equal employment opportunity, or there's one that says sexual misconduct issues. Right. Link on that and it brings you straight to our office. We are accessible on every web page.
And I imagine if you do get a complaint or something that's troubling, you guys are pretty quick in getting back to them as well.
You betcha. I mean, our point is to be quick and help resolve things at the lowest level. Sometimes what it means is we're just going to have a communication, or we do follow up with a couple of folks to help, but we want to be available when we're needed.
Dr. David Cross, Director of EEO Compliance and Title IX Coordinator with the Office of Institutional Equity. Thanks for being here on the show, David. It's always good to see you.
All right. Thank you, sir. You guys have a great day. I appreciate the work you do.
Thanks, David. All right, take care. And congratulations once again to Yazmeen Ortiz. We are certainly proud to have her in our HCC family. Yazmeen, don't forget about us. Remember us. Hey, we're here. We're going to call on you one day, and we hope to get her back on the show. All right, now we're going to move on to Chris, Program Coordinator of the Digital Gaming and Simulation of the Digital IT Center of Excellence. He's known as Professaurus. And Chris, do you have an avatar for that? You said you do, right?
Yeah, technically I do. I drew it on the first day just because I was going to animate it, but at the time doing more grades and work with my students instead. Yeah.
So you've got a game we wanted to talk about. You sent us a game called Fate of the Ancients. Maybe you can, we'll show some of the graphics, but maybe you can tell us about this game. And was this something that your students put together as a project for their classes?
Yes, they had about 16 weeks to complete the project, overall 8 weeks to, well, technically 8 weeks to finish the project, and the rest was to polish on the project. And they got together and they designed a game and created the game from scratch.
Is this like an RPG game, or what type of game is this?
It was designed to be more of an action game, typically defined as a hack and slash. And it kind of borderline hit RPGs a little bit with the numbers that popped up. But yes.
In layman's terms, tell us about the software that you used and what type of machines you were using to put this together.
So this semester was a lot different because typically we work on campus, but because this semester was all online due to the pandemic, so all the students relied on their computer hardware, and all the software that we used were generally free. Nothing that they used had to be paid for. So things like Blender, even Autodesk, 3ds Max, and Maya. We used the Unreal Engine 4 to generate all of the functionality for the game mechanics.
And how long does a project like this, you said 16 weeks, how long would it normally take for a project like this if you were working with, say, a design studio for cranking out a game? These things can take years to develop, correct?
Yes. So it depends on the length of the project and the scope of the project. It can, if it's mobile, it could last up to 6 months to a year. For games, if you look at games like Halo or God of War, it may take anywhere from 2 to 4 years, depending on the complexity of the project.
You know, one thing that surprised me, and maybe you can comment on this as well, Jeff Rauner, he writes for the Houston Press, and he does gaming and lifestyle entertainment. He talked about software developers and gaming platforms that are releasing games that are intentionally not finished. And to sell the game, to bring the money into, I guess, to the investors. And people are knowing, they get into it and they're having to download all these patches and correct the game. Have you heard of this? Do you and your students discuss things like this?
Yes, actually. The students themselves, pretty much most of them are gamers. Actually, all of them are gamers. And so they're very opinionated on what is enough, what is going to be worth the bang for their buck. And I believe this is the same game that they were talking about last time, Cyberpunk 2077. And it's a very common phrase in 2020 and moving forward. But games will always be, in a sense, incomplete because it's kind of like a painting or a programming project. We can always add more to it. I think it was in 2017, 2016, some developers removed puddles from a game. I'm not going to mention which game. They removed puddles from a game, and there was a bunch of unique individuals who spoke out against it, saying this was not what was promised. They've been lied to, and all because of puddles. And while that was maybe about 10-20% of the audience, the rest were like, they're just puddles. Like, this was removed probably because it wasn't fitting the aesthetics.
Right.
And the rest enjoyed the game wholeheartedly. It's just, but the thing is, there's going to be a balance between the two. And some people will feel like they've been wronged, which is fair because that game was, I'm not going to go too much into detail. A lot of people will feel like they didn't get what they paid for.
Because they took out the puddles.
Yes, for that particular game.
I've got my notes here. What do you mean when you talk about communication effectiveness? Is this something that you have to work with your students on?
Yes. So unlike a lot of other projects where which game development can also focus on solo, as in one person can make a whole game by themselves. And there have been pretty impressive projects. Trying to get a cohesiveness between two people and in a sense, married partners, seeing how people can last for 40, 50 years is an amazing achievement. Getting it to work between a group of 500 individuals to meet on the same page to make sure that they deliver the same product with the same style, with the same aesthetics, with the same necessary requirements is a heck of a challenge. So a lot of the students discover that along the way, but they learned a lot. And the gaming industry, even though it's over 50 years now, it is still young. It's just still in its infancy. We are still discovering ways to improve ourselves and to really push ourselves to be more productive and more progressive in our industry.
With technology changing very rapidly, are you changing the ways that you have to use to create these games, or are if you know the basics, you can always adapt?
The fundamentals will always be important. In this day and age, and I hate to bust out the different, back in my day, it used to be more complicated. Game publishers and producers have streamlined games to the point where anybody can make a game, right? Anyone can hop online, and I encourage this for everyone who is even remotely interested to just go online, Google a few things, and just dive into it. Because we spoke with a couple of folks from Adobe, and they talked about, what is your response to piracy? Well, we figured that at some point, a lot of our customers will start off somewhere, and eventually, once they get serious, they'll actually invest in our product. And I was like, that sounds ingenious. If you think about it. Yeah. But nowadays, things have gotten more effective, more easy. It's been easier for students to hop on at any time, and it's simple drag and drop. You hear things like Minecraft for younger generations, where they can program their own games. They can make games in Roblox. Some of the older artists in the back are just like, Roblox, that's a terrible game. But in reality, with 2020, 2021, it has never been easier for all of our kids and students to get access to pretty much almost any information. And it's amazing.
Well, you hit the nail on the head, and I think the folks at Adobe were completely correct, because sooner or later, they are going to start buying your product. You look at all these bands, that have been giving away their music for years. The Grateful Dead lived off of bootleg recordings. They didn't make a dime off of those, but their concerts were sold out for decades. That's proof in the pudding right there. They will support you. So, I think a lot of these companies, they want to own the rights. That's great. But sometimes, flattery is the best form of flattery is imitation.
Yes. It's definitely something that a lot of our students also do, especially when it comes to fan art. And like one of my students' favorite projects is to find an existing game and try to replicate it in their own world. And so they'll do everything it's possible to follow that goal. And it's really fun to watch and to help them develop that along the way.
Speaking of goals and accomplishments, what would you, if you look back over these last 15 months that most of us have been working remotely, what would you say are some of the biggest accomplishments for your classes and students?
For my students, a lot of them, and this is for myself as well, a lot of the students prior to the pandemic, we had struggles with communication. They had a hard time talking to us. Some of them, which I never knew. I thought I had a very happy-go-lucky face. People would like to talk to me, but apparently not. I learned that I have a very scary face, apparently. And I did not suspect it. It's probably because usually when I'm working, like if they're crunch timing it, I'm crunch timing it. Yeah. I'm almost always tired. But they had a hard time talking to pretty much any professor, anyone in general. But with the pandemic, with our transition to the online world, they have never been more vocal, and not just through voice, but also through text messages. And so that's something that I aim to bring to the class once we return to campus. They will still have that access to communicate with me through all of these wonderful chat applications during class. And I wholeheartedly encourage it. But I also encourage the whole, you need to talk to eventually voice with your actual vocals.
Right, right. We've been talking with Chris Khuong, the program coordinator of the Digital Gaming and Simulation of the Digital Information and Technology Center of Excellence. Could you have had a longer title, Chris?
No, digital gaming is just fine for me.
All right. Chris, we appreciate you joining us here. As always, thanks for being here on the show.
Thanks for having me.
All right, take care. Okay, Brittany Pacheco, our HCC news and announcements. Brittany, we've got something going on a week from Saturday out at the Central College, and they're calling it the Big Saturday.
They are. It's freebies and frisbees. That's really interesting, the fact that you use the same letters and you can create like a whole new word. Anyway, we've got freebies and frisbees with 3 events to get ready for fall. First is our job and career fair. Second is our HCC Central's 50th anniversary celebration. And finally, the admissions and registration fair. Now, as Todd mentioned, that's happening a week from this Saturday. So this will happen June 5th from 10 to 1. And bring a lawn chair. Enjoy the DJ, eat a gourmet cupcake. Who doesn't love cupcakes? I could go for one right now, actually. Yeah, you can get a free t-shirt, throw a flying disc. It's a big Saturday. Will be big fun. So they also have a hashtag Big Saturday at HCC. So we'll have a link to include in the post after the show.
The Big Saturday coming up a week from Saturday. Okay, Restaurant Revitalization Fund, get the facts. HCC Small Business Development Department is offering a webinar to learn how to provide required annual government reports. The training will detail in this forum eligible use of funds, developing a 2-pronged documentation process, and disaster versus growth capital. That's happening Tuesday, June 15th, 10 a.m. to 11:30. We'll have the registration information and contact in the social media post for this show. Grant process reminders. Tell us what that's all about, Brittany.
So all HCC grant applications, amendments, and other grant documents must be prepared and processed through the Office of Resource Development Innovation Grants. Now, this includes a lot. If you don't follow the process, you run the risk of a delay in approval. So prior to writing any grant application, you need to contact one of HCC's grant writers or attend an upcoming virtual training session. And as always, we will include a link for this in the post after this show.
Hey, you need money for college? Well, our foundation has some. All you have to do is to apply. Make sure you do so. Let the HCC Foundation help you pay for college. Just complete the online application for funding for all or part of your tuition. Fees and books can be paid by scholarships. There's a deadline though. You gotta apply by time, and the deadline is Tuesday, June the 15th. You got a little time left. We'll have the very long link in the social media post for the show. Okay, Path to Profession. What is that all about?
So like the traditional work study program, this provides students with job opportunities in their field by securing positions with HCC business partners, allowing them to earn money and gain real world experience. So that link is going to be hccs.edu/path, 2, profession, and we'll put that link in the post after the show.
Okay, if you are planning on attending HCC in the fall, we are registering right now, right this second. You can go to the website, you can register. And for the summer sessions as well. Don't leave that out there. In fact, I think, Brittany, summer classes start fairly soon, correct?
They should start fairly soon, Todd. The date I don't have right with me or at the top of my head, but I'm assuming that when I go back to classes online, everyone else is going to go classes, but not just online. There's hybrid courses that are going to be available, as well as small face-to-face classes. You tell them about it.
Yeah, face-to-face. We're returning to campuses. A lot of our employees, staffs, faculty already back on some campuses right now and in limited fashion. And we are welcoming our students back this summer and in the fall for face-to-face in-person classes. They are going to be very small, so you'll need to make sure you sign up early to get the professor you want or instructor. If you want to get a certain time, get the right class, maybe the right location, sign up early, register today for your classes for the summer sessions in the fall. One website to do so at hccs.edu/now. So we are halfway through this work week, as you like to call it.
Yes, I know. We're not quite at day 4 of the hostage situation, but we're going to get there.
We're getting there. Tomorrow, we're wrapping up Asian American Pacific Islander Heritage Month with Lana Pagao. She is our communications director at HCC Northwest College. She'll be discussing the surprising bigotry she has faced because of her ethnic mix. She is Asian and Caucasian. So we'll be talking with her about that because she says she believes education is the great equalizer. So it'll be a great discussion with Lana. We all know her. We're looking forward to having her on the show. And it's your favorite day of the week.
It is. It's Thursday, so it's Virtual Family Fun Day, and we will welcome a very special guest from the Miller Outdoor Theater, which has been closed for the better part of a year, but it's about to open once again. I'm so excited for this.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. If you've never been out to Miller Outdoor Theater, it's one of Houston's treasures. It's been there for decades. We'll know exactly how long, but I want to say this theater is probably, I think it was built, Brittany, sometime in the 30s.
Wow. Yeah,
it was. We'll find out tomorrow, but it's been there for quite some time. I haven't been there in a few years, but I do have friends who go there all the time, and they like to post pictures of rolling down the hill.
Oh yeah, I've done that a time or two.
Oh, you rolled down the hill. Okay.
Oh, of course. I might have gotten sick a time or two, but yeah, no. Miller Outdoor Theater, at Herman Park is very near and dear to my heart, and the fact that like we just said, it's been closed for a better part of the year, but the fact that they're going to reopen soon, we'll get all those details tomorrow and find out when it first opened, because that is a very significant piece of Houston history.
You want to take a guess, and I'll take a guess, and we'll see who's right. I'm going to go 1932.
Okay, I'm going to go 1934.
Okay. All right, so we'll find out tomorrow. We could both.
Like the Price is Right.
Yeah, we'll see. Okay, so she just goes above me. All right, so we'll be back tomorrow. Brittany, you're here tomorrow. I'm here tomorrow, and we'll be back at 10 a.m. tomorrow, not 11 a.m. like today. Tomorrow morning, we'll be on at 10 a.m. live right here for Up to the Minute.